Wars cost billions in weapons and lives. But what if the most devastating conflicts are actually funded by powers who never set foot on the battlefield? The story of how ancient Persia manipulated Athens and Sparta reveals a playbook that's still being used today.
That's such an intriguing way to look at it. How did you make that connection?
Well, I've been studying the Peloponnesian War, and there's this fascinating pattern where Persia, after failing to conquer Greece directly, discovered something crucial. It was cheaper and more effective to let others do the fighting, while they just provided the money.
So they basically invented proxy warfare.
In many ways, yes. See, Athens had these incredible silver mines at Laurion that produced what became the ancient world's reserve currency. These owl coins that were accepted everywhere in the Mediterranean. The historian Donald Kagan actually said that without these mines, there would have been no Athenian empire at all.
So Athens had its own economic superpower. How did that shape the conflict?
That's where it gets really interesting. While Athens was minting these owl coins, Sparta was land-rich but silver-poor. They had great soldiers but couldn't fund a navy. And that's exactly where Persia saw their opportunity.
Let me guess, they started bankrolling Sparta?
Exactly right. Persian satraps began channeling their Daric coins, stamped with archers, ironically enough, to Sparta. Thucydides wrote directly that the king gave money to the Lacedaemonians that they might carry on the war. It was brilliantly calculated.
You know what's fascinating about that? It's like they discovered they could achieve their goals without risking a single Persian life.
And here's the genius part. They didn't need to fund both sides. Athens was already wealthy. By just keeping Sparta funded enough to keep fighting, they ensured the war would drag on until both Greek powers were exhausted.
That strategy feels eerily familiar when we look at modern conflicts.
Precisely. Take the billions in military aid flowing to various conflicts today. It's the same playbook, just with more sophisticated financial instruments. The hand behind the spear hasn't changed much in 2,500 years.
So how do we recognize these patterns forming in real time?
Well, you have to follow the money trails. Look at military aid packages, weapons sales patterns, economic sanctions. When you map these out over time, you often see clear patterns of influence emerging long before conflicts escalate.
That makes me think differently about how we should analyze current events.
And that's crucial because understanding these dynamics might be our best hope for preventing conflicts from being artificially prolonged. When we see the pattern, we can start questioning who benefits from continued fighting.
You know what's particularly chilling? How calculated it all is.
Right? Persia learned from its failed direct invasions and adapted its strategy. Modern powers have only refined this approach further. The principles haven't changed much, but the scale is enormous.
So what's the key takeaway for understanding conflicts today?
I think it's about looking past the immediate drama of battles and asking deeper questions. Who's funding this? Who benefits from its continuation? What are the hidden economic relationships at play? Because sometimes the loudest parts of history are shaped by the quietest moves.
That's quite a sobering thought to end on, that the real power often moves silently.
Indeed. And perhaps that's the most valuable lesson from all this. Understanding how power really works might be our best hope for building a more peaceful future. Because when we can see these patterns forming, we might actually have a chance to prevent history from rhyming quite so destructively.